For hundreds of years, the world gazed at those massive stone heads on a remote island in the Pacific, thinking they were just eerie faces staring endlessly at the ocean. But what if I told you that's only the beginning of the story? What if beneath the soil lies a secret so profound it could rewrite the entire timeline of human ingenuity? Stick around, because as we dive deeper, you'll uncover hidden bodies, ancient rituals, and clues to a lost civilization that defies everything we thought we knew. By the end, you might question what other mysteries are still buried out there, waiting for us. Let's start with the basics to set the stage. Where exactly is this enigmatic place? Easter Island, or Rapa Nui as its people call it, sits isolated in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, over 2,000 miles from the nearest inhabited land. When were these iconic statues first noticed by outsiders? European explorers stumbled upon them in the 18th century, but the island's Polynesian inhabitants had been living among them for centuries before that. What are these statues? Known as Moai, they're colossal figures carved from volcanic rock, some towering up to 33 feet high and weighing as much as 75 tons. Who created them? The ancient Rapa Nui people, descendants of daring seafarers who navigated vast oceans using only stars and waves. Why did they build them? That's the question that has puzzled experts for generations. Were they memorials, guardians, or something more? And how on earth did a small island society move these behemoths without modern machinery? These are the core mysteries we'll unravel. But trust me, the answers will lead to even bigger revelations. Archaeologists arrive on the island, tools in hand, expecting to study what everyone sees, the heads. But as they start digging, something unexpected emerges. What appeared to be standalone heads are actually full-bodied statues buried up to their necks in earth. Why were they buried like this? Was it erosion over time or a deliberate act? When did this happen? Evidence suggests the burials occurred gradually, starting around 1,000 years ago. How were they positioned? Not facing the sea as myths claimed, but inland, toward ancient villages, as if standing sentinel over their creators. Who decided on this orientation? Likely the island's leaders, using the Moai as protectors. Where were most of these discoveries made? At Raraku, the quarry where hundreds of statues were carved directly from the volcano's slopes. As the team excavates one Moai after another, details come to light that spark endless curiosity. The bodies aren't plain. They're adorned with intricate carvings, spirals, symbols, and even what look like tattoos on their backs. What do these markings mean? Could they represent stories, genealogies, or spiritual incantations? Around the bases, unfinished tools lie scattered. Hammers of basalt, chisels of obsidian, abandoned mid-strike. Why stop suddenly? Did a catastrophe strike, or was there a shift in society? How did they transport these giants? Researchers now believe they walked them using ropes and teams of people, rocking them forward in an ingenious method that's been recreated in experiments. But hold on, these buried giants are just the tip of the iceberg. What if the ground holds more than statues? What secrets are locked in the soil that could explain the island's survival against all odds? Deeper digs reveal something vibrant and unexpected, hidden pits brimming with a brilliant red powder. What is this substance? Not ordinary dirt, but a meticulously crafted pigment from hematite and magnetite, iron-rich minerals ground into a sacred crimson hue. Where were these pits found? Scattered near the quarry and statue sites, carefully lined with stones and sealed for preservation. When were they created? Astonishingly, centuries after the island's forests were depleted, challenging the old narrative of environmental collapse. Why produce such vast quantities? In Polynesian culture, red embodied power, divinity, and protection, used to adorn statues, paint bodies during ceremonies, and mark sacred spaces. Who handled this pigment? Probably priests or artisans, as it tied into rituals that sustained the community's spirit. How was it made? Through skilled processing that required knowledge of minerals and fire, proving the Rapa Nui weren't struggling survivors, but innovative adapters. This pigment discovery flips the script on the island's history. For years, we thought deforestation led to societal breakdown. Trees gone, soil eroded, people starving. But these stores show organization and continuity. Imagine, in a barren landscape, they're still mixing sacred colors, performing rites. It begs the question, what drove them to persist? To answer that, we must go even deeper, literally, beneath the platforms where the Moai stand. What lies under those massive stone bases? Not just dirt, but engineered chambers that change everything we know about ancient engineering. Breaking through the rock, archaeologists uncover sealed vaults, precision-built with interlocking stones that have withstood earthquakes and erosion for a millennium. What are these chambers? Tombs, but not crude graves. They're sophisticated crypts designed for eternity. When were they constructed? Around the same era as the Moai, between 1200 and 1500 CE. Where are they located? Directly under the Ahu platforms that support the statues. Why build them this way? To honor the elite, leaders, priests and craftsmen, entombing them as eternal guardians. Who rests inside? Skeletons of high-status individuals, surrounded by obsidian tools, shell jewelry from distant oceans and offerings of food. How did they achieve such craftsmanship? With advanced knowledge of stonework and trade networks that spanned the Pacific, importing materials unavailable on the island. The walls and bones gleam with that same red pigment, turning burial into a vivid, spiritual masterpiece. It's as if the dead were painted to live on, watching over the living through the Moai above. But this raises a thrilling puzzle. If the statues are guardians for the tombs, what else might be hidden? Could there be undiscovered chambers holding even greater treasures? As curiosity builds, let's turn to the statue's most haunting feature, their eyes. What if those blank stares were never meant to be empty? Back in 1978, scattered fragments near fallen Moai turned out to be something revolutionary. Carved eyes made from white coral with pupils of dark obsidian or red scoria. What do these eyes represent? Life itself, the final touch that animated the statues in rituals. When were they installed? After the Moai were erected, in a ceremony that awakened them. Where did the materials come from? Coral from the island's reefs, obsidian from volcanic sources. Why only some statues? It denoted hierarchy. Ide Moai honored the most revered ancestors. Who performed the ritual? Shamans or chiefs, aligning the statues with the sun so they'd watch villages at dawn and dusk. How did they fit? Precisely shaped to slot into sockets, catching light to make the figures seem alive and vigilant. Oral legends whispered of Moai that saw their people, and now science confirms it. This blend of myth and fact fuels our intrigue. What other stories hold truth? Speaking of stories, imagine finding wooden tablets etched with a script no one can fully decipher. What is this lost language? Rongo-Rongo, the only known writing system from the Pacific, discovered in 1864 by a missionary. When was it created? Likely between 1200 and 1500 CE, on wood from extinct island trees. Where were the tablets found? Hidden in houses and caves, preserved by the dry climate. Why invent writing? To record chants, genealogies, astronomy, or histories, showing intellectual sophistication. Who could read it? Only elders, and their knowledge faded with time. How is it written? In Boustrophodon style, lines alternating directions carved with shark teeth. Rongo-Rongo shatters the image of a primitive society. It's evidence of a literate, ordered world. But as the Moai era waned, something shifted. What caused the change? Around 1400 CE, statue building halted abruptly. Tools dropped, quarries silenced. Why? Resource scarcity or internal strife? Instead, a new cult emerged, the Birdman. What was this cult? A yearly competition where warriors swam shark-infested seas to fetch a sacred egg from a distant islet. When did it peak? From the 15th to 19th centuries. Where? At a Rongo village on a crater's edge with stone houses and petroglyphs of bird-human hybrids. Who participated? Clan representatives vying for power. How did it work? The victor granted his sponsor rule for a year, resetting society through bravery, not birthright. This cult marked adaptation, faith evolving amid hardship. But the real twist, the collapse narrative was wrong. What really happened? DNA and digs show stable populations, no mass violence. When did true devastation hit? Post-European contact in the 1720s, with diseases and slave raids decimating the Rapa Nui from thousands to mere hundreds by the 1800s. Why rebuild? Resilience. Survivors preserved heritage, blending old ways with new. How do we know? Modern tech like ground-penetrating radar reveals more buried sites. As we wrap this journey, reflect. The Moai aren't relics of failure, but triumphs of creativity and endurance. What messages do they hold for us today? In isolation, greatness can flourish. History whispers through stone, if we listen. What do you think awaits discovery next? Share below, like if this hooked you, and hit subscribe with notifications to catch more untold tales. See you soon. Easter Island's mysteries remind us that even in isolation, human creativity knows no limits. Beneath those silent stone faces lies a story of resilience, innovation, and spiritual depth that defies old myths of collapse. The Rapa Nui didn't vanish. They adapted, survived, and left behind one of history's greatest legacies, carved in stone and written in mystery. What else might still lie hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered? Tell us what you think in the comments. And if this journey fascinated you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more ancient secrets revealed. Thanks for watching.